Welcome back, folks. You are watching Moving Forward. I'm your host, CB Moss, delighted to have been with you. We had an excellent time in the first segment. This is going to be even better because we have with us some of the new generation of entertainers. I mean, it was good talking to Freddie and Ray and Vola, but let's be fair, let's be honest. We got to go to young blood, man. We have to go with these young fellas. And so joining us for this second segment is Raphael Munnings Jr., the future. And he is the son, obviously, of Raphael Munnings Sr. And also we have Dion Turnquest, who is a musician. His band, I think, was what we would call the lead band for this event. And we're going to ask you, Raphael, to tell us about your experience, because this was your first time as a performer.
Yes.
You've been there before, but
yes.
So tell us about that.
And well, like you say, hello world. Yeah, well, I actually, the first time I was maybe like only one or so. So it's like, there's no actual recollection of what was going on, but I know I just saw my father up there doing something. And for me at the time, it was very amazing, you know, even just seeing the people, seeing the food, and really him telling all the stories. I've seen some of the videos from back in the day when he was there originally, but for me, this time going in there. And we've performed a few times before. My first time on stage was back in like 2010, and that was for the hurricane relief that they had at the Fish Fry. But that compared to seeing the people at this venue was incredible for me.
I believe you.
You know, and like it really doesn't do justice as you're saying, just talking about it, but seeing the pictures, the aerial photos afterwards, you know, definitely getting some of the feedback as you can look into the audience and see what the Bahamas has to provide is something that's spectacular for me and a great moment in time, because I always, like I said, me and my father, we go up, we get to see some of the Bahamian reactions, but you know, like to see what the world and the way that they receive it, that's really priceless.
Well, I've seen you and your father perform on stage together before,
right?
And I could imagine in that sort of environment, with the energy emanating from those thousands and thousands of people, must have been super. Dion, you're the music man.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your band. Well, I know you have a good band, Dion. You have to have a good band. My son D'Angelo plays with you in your band.
Indeed,
and
indeed.
The minute I realized that, I said, you're the #1 band in the land.
Yes, the band is called Conquest, GQ for short. But for the purpose of the New Orleans Jazz Festival, we were the Bahamas Revue band. It was an awesome experience. I had traveled to New Orleans before. I just feel that as a musician and a place with such a rich history and culture, music, jazz in particular, it was somewhere that I had to visit at some point. But this particular trip was amazing. I visited there as a tourist. But this trip, being a performer, really was truly amazing, showcasing Bahamian talents, culture, was awesome.
I could imagine, and while there, you realize that we really have something. I mean, you always knew it, because one thing the musicians, and you know what you have. Yeah. You know what you can do. Indeed. It's just that we, the general public in the Bahamas, seem not to fully appreciate it. So what was your feeling when you saw all of those people responding to what you were doing in such a way that tells you what you're doing was great?
Oh, it just feeds the energy that you already came with. It's an exciting experience to see their reaction. There's nothing like Junkanoo, and even with the raw parade that we put on, and to see they just follow you like you're the Pied Piper.
Yes.
I've seen that on numerous occasions abroad with Junkanoo. They just follow you. The rhythms, just mesmerizing. And so it was spectacular to see their reactions and their hunger for more. You stop and it's like, okay.
Yes.
Though on all the other stages there are great performances, at that moment in time they're like, okay man, we need some more of that.
Yeah.
But okay, we got to go over to the next tent to see Gladys Knight or whoever else it was.
Yeah, and I could imagine how the artists, following you all, how they felt. I mean, the atmosphere was already charged to a level that they had to try to climb up to reach that. And so that, I believe they would say, look here, I don't want you all Bahama boys, as they call you sometimes. You Bahama boys come and get in front of me again, But Raphael, I know I saw you and your father did that iconic song,
Yes.
Funky Nassau, before. Did you do that over there?
Yes, with my father, he of course, does his. He has another routine before I come on.
Yes.
And I usually come on for Funky Nassau.
Yes.
As you said, you saw.
Yes.
With a few. I don't know how many. Did you see at the last year? I did the Independence show.
No, I didn't see. I saw it before that, but it's super.
Yeah, yeah. And so I usually come on pretty much for the Funky Nassau because, like you say, it's such an iconic song, and it's something that has been a trendsetter for the Bahamas. And for me, it's almost like they might as well start calling me Young Funky Nassau too, because it's like people just used to just saying it or calling me Young Munnings, or they even call me my grandfather's name sometimes if they're a little bit older. And unfortunately, I didn't exactly do another portion, which is my rap part. But I definitely did perform that song with him, because we have a few things in the works right now. So I definitely tend to kick it out there a few thousand notches to bring this music game up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the question that I would ask is, I know when you're here home with this audience, are you sort of vulnerable to just accepting their lack of full appreciation of you? But when you go away and see how you are appreciated, is there a difference really? And what does it do to you?
Well, for me, it's very disappointing. Even like I say, with my family being such a musical family and iconic family when it comes to how long they've been, as they say, in the game. You hear a few people here and there like, yeah, they appreciate it, but you would want a little bit more acceptance. And there are a lot of young people that are coming up, and they really don't even get the chance to know and see what and how the Bahamians have been accepted worldwide from before. So now they look up to everyone else that's out of this particular, as even though the Bahamas is just a country, it's like we have our own little world going on here. So it's a matter of really, I think, is more that needs to be done to commemorate and really push a lot more what has already been achieved, for younger people and the younger generation to come and hear and know and appreciate, because I don't think it's appreciated as much as it should be.
So Dion, you are a musician, and I am impressed with the level of skills and ability. Years ago when I was in the game, you're just raking and scraping, and it was good.
Yeah.
But our musicians today can hold their own with almost anyone internationally.
Indeed.
What do you think we need to do to get that out there full time?
Well, we've spoken earlier in the other segment about the support from I guess government and government agencies, but truly I think we need ourselves to continue to just keep pushing in various aspects of the industry. we continue to practice,
Yes.
but there's also the marketing end, the business end. We need to refine our skills in all aspects of it. And I'd say those who are even younger than myself, have gotten to that point, especially with the marketing. You look at a Wendi and Dyson, who was on the trip to New Orleans with us. They've done a remarkable job of promoting themselves and their product. And so we need to find the combination, the balance of further developing our skills, but also developing our skills in the business part of it. So with all of that being done, then we would attract the support of those agencies that we spoke about earlier.
I'm tremendously impressed with the young people in the business. Ray, you being a senior man, how do you see the young people?
Exactly. Well, I was about to interject by saying that, like I said, I was attending or being a part of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage since 1982. And at that time, what I did, since we were going there, I said, we're going to have, I want to do songs that the people from New Orleans would identify with. So I took some of their best artists, like a Fats Domino.
Oh, yes.
And he had songs that were already popular
He
worldwide.
was a resident there, right?
Yeah, yes.
So they're very familiar with
well,
Fats.
so like I said, I took some of his material and we put it in the Junkanoo vein, the Junkanoo beat, and so same lyrics. But of course, the people, when they heard that, it really, really blew them away. Now this time, the producers, Fred and his group, they were given, not instructions, but they were said, they didn't want any of that. They wanted to do all Bahamian music. And so when now here it is, here's a challenge because, well, of course, people knew Funky, or know Funky Nassau, but the other artists like Nehemiah and Wendy and Dyson, like I said, to go on stage and perform all their music, which they did an excellent job. I'm saying that now was a challenge for the band and for the artists to now make the audience love this music that they'd never heard before. So, and like I said, once he hit the stage, Nehemiah came on first, and he did some of the real traditional songs that are Bahamian. Wendy and Dyson followed him, and they did all of their own material, which was very well accepted, and Dion can elaborate on that a little bit more. But the whole idea was, like I said, Fred said once the group was assembled, he said, now, this time we have to do entirely Bahamian product, Bahamian music. And like I said, not to my surprise, because I know once you got into it, it would happen. But the people accepted the music the way it was, meaning once they heard it, and very professionally done. And of course, we had two dancers with us on stage. I call them eye candy. Once you have that added to the good music, then it works. And like I said, this was my first time introducing Raffy to the international stage. We wanted to do his versions more of a hip-hop type of version, extension of Funky Nassau. And so we were going in, Funky Nassau they know, knowing they would know that song, but all the other songs, and just like Dion was saying too, the younger people have got a little advantage because in our day growing up, if a song didn't play on the radio, there was no other way you can hear it. Now you've got the Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got YouTube, so much more material, not material, but avenues that you can get your work out there to the world bypassing the quote-unquote record companies. So in the song Funky Nassau, the lyrics, people haven't listened, but I've been saying it for 50 years, and that part of the lyric says, we're going to take care of business too. Very important. The music, that's why they call it the music business, because it's not just the stage up on top and performing and doing well, but how you're going to promote yourself, how you're going to promote your music, how you're going to introduce it to the world, because reggae music didn't start as reggae music. Reggae music started as rock steady, by Carlos Malcolm and Byron Lee and people like that. Then it moved to ska, and then it moved to reggae once Bob got on the scene with all the other artists from Jamaica. So I've also noticed over the years, there's always this big argument between the Bahamian musicians, and they still don't know what it is, but it's been right under their nose the last 50 years. When again, in the lyrics, they don't listen to the lyrics, obviously. I said, we've got a doggone beat we're gonna call our very own. So, and they still haven't heard that. They've heard it, but they didn't hear it, or they didn't want to hear it. And that song, like I said, really came from the hi-hat riding, which really was the calypso sound at the time, which then turned into soca. But Funky Nassau had it out there to the world since 1971 in the international market. So we've got a doggone beat we're gonna call our very own. We've been saying it. And we're gonna take care of business too. Those two lines, they missed. They were listening to all the other things. But it's important to take care of that business side of
that's
marketing.
That's my, this is a nice point to segue into my next question. Dion, you know where you are now. We know where we are now. We are out there promoting what you do. When are we going to use that as a magnet to attract people to us? In other words, should we be thinking of a festival of our own?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason why that's not happening today. Don't want to be too controversial, but
be controversial.
What we have now is the carnival. I don't know. Maybe it had good intentions at its initial stages, but in my opinion, has gone way off track of promoting us and who we are.
Yes.
Hopefully we can salvage it and turn it around and make it. But I don't have the answers as to how that would happen. I can assist with that, but right now there's no reason why we can't have something year-round. You look at New Orleans, where we would have come from. In New Orleans, almost every month there's about 2 or 3 festivals. Literally, every month there's 2 to 3 festivals happening, and so for a nation that has tourism as its #1 industry, there's no reason why we can't have the same, promoting us instead of something else.
Maybe young Raffy will have something to say about that in the years to come. Because until we begin to use what we have, which is a proven product to attract visitors here, we're going to run short. Now, unfortunately, we have hotels. They put on big shows, big stars. They import them. But the visitors are kept right within the confines of that hotel. We need to get them out of the hotels into the community where they can really hear the Bahamian stuff.
Well,
Ray, what do you think about that, Dion?
With this model that we're operating under now, the only way it seems like that can happen is through ownership. Ownership by the musicians and the key stakeholders in the music industry. So we won't depend on the government or anybody outside of our industry to promote us. If you can curate a platform that would attract the tourists, then they start to come out of those hotels. But it starts with ownership, I believe.
Yes, and that means the burden really rests on you all and those who support you.
Indeed.
Perhaps you should set about forming some kind of foundation where you can use that to promote what you do. You have it, you have the product, but
Absolutely.
you don't control how it is dispensed because you don't have the levers. Yeah, Ray.
Well, I would like to also echo the sentiments that were talked about a little earlier. You know, most of the hotels now, like the cruise ships, they call them all-inclusive.
Yeah.
Meaning the people, once they pay, they don't have to hit their or go in their pockets again while they're here in the Bahamas. And so they want to keep the people confined to their venues for the entire 2, 3, 4, 5 days, however long it is. So when you have an outside product like a festival, although it may be promoted, if they're not pre-sold before they leave here, there's no point trying to get them when they're in the harbor sitting on those ships or when they're in the hotels already paying for all of the amenities that have been offered to them. So we have really say our work is cut out because, and now they're planning another monstrosity out on the Prince George dock. They're going to convert that and say convert the downtown area. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, and so much work and quote unquote so little time.
Yes.
So we have to, like I say, get busy right away because all these other things that I'm speaking about are in the works right now. And if the groundwork isn't laid, we'll get left again. And for me, like I say, being in the industry for the last 50 plus years, I started when I was 4 years old. So, but not working, but I mean, being around it. So we have to get busy and make sure that the majority of the pie that comes here or that is shared up while in this country would benefit the Bahamians or the people that have been in the craft, in the musical side or in the craft or whatever they do, that these are the people that benefit most from our beautiful country of 700 islands.
Yeah, Dion, we've come to the end of the program, but we'd just like to get closing remarks from you. I see the impact of this most recent trip to New Orleans. What would you like to see us as a people, Bahamian people, do to try to promote what we have? We know it's a great product. What would you like to see us do as a people, including the government?
Well, of course, support. Number one, just come out and support whatever is, well, not whatever, just because we need to always encourage the standard that the standard is high from our producers, from our musicians, and so yes, support, but have your input into what is being produced and what is being put on the airwaves, and so keep that standard. And just generally support our artists, buy the music, come out to the festivals, to the concerts. The Ministry of Tourism is putting on, once again, their summer Junkanoo festival. And they have a number of artists, one of which will be my band, Conquest, will be backing up artists like Nehemiah Hield, who was with us in New Orleans. We're looking forward to that, and some other artists that we'll be backing. So things like that come out in droves, and it does help to encourage us, but also sends us back into the shed to practice and create and
to
produce.
Improve where you need to improve. Final word from you, young Raphael.
Well, definitely I agree with Dion and my father, because it's discouraging in a way when you actually like you say, you practice, you do rehearsals, you create your material, and like you say, for the people that are just here, even as Bahamians, you don't see anyone come out, and you get extremely discouraged as in an artist who's probably been out there for a certain period of time. I'm actually just trying to catch up with a few things because I've been off to school to do more media work, video production and stuff like that. So like I said, I've always been around the music, from Pampas. You know, being there with
Yes, of course.
being there with my grandfather, and he's sending you every time in the front. Anyone that came to the house, you gotta do something. So like I say, just for everyone to just, like I said, not be discouraged, and just the same as me, I'm trying to get out there and make things happen in my own way. Still appreciate everything that we're all going through, and I think the Bahamas could definitely make some serious waves again, and we just need to keep at least being able to go to a festival like this and find other artists that are coming up just as well. You know, just some people just need to get out there and be able to push forward so they can feel like they're also a part of what's going on.
Well, you know, if I were in my corporate incarnation, we would have put something together to make this happen, whatever we're talking about. But that's 20 years, a bit too late for me. Ray, final words before we go.
Well, I'd like to say thank you, Reverend Moss, for this opportunity once again. And, you know, it's, like I said, time is winding down for all of us,
Yes.
as we know. But we have to make the most and the best out of the time that we have still here. And, of course, some of the future things that I have within the immediate future is, like I say, the music that they have, the reggae music, as you know, came back to the United States out of Europe. Maybe that's the route we might have to follow with the rake and scrape, which I think is rake and scrape music. It definitely has a place. All the young artists that are coming up, like I say, they're finding their way, and that's good to see. And so we got to help where we can to introduce them and to give them a platform on which to perform, and that which is exactly this time what we did, like I say, with the young Wendi and Dyson Knight, and of course Nehemiah, not so young, but he still could become in that category, and Raffy would be in that category. So the whole idea is to reintroduce a new crop of musicians and entertainers now, because the band can stand on their own, meaning let's say the band here, like you said, your son is a part of that. So the whole idea is for all the people that have been, Fred, you, myself, Vola, and all the people, especially in the Junkanoo, because there's a whole new set of Junkanoo artists, people that play the drums and cowbells and everything. They have their place in this whole reintroduction of the entertainment and the culture of the Bahamas. So once again, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to 2020 and beyond.
Well, I thank you, all of you, especially the two youngsters, Dion and Raphael. Not that we don't appreciate you and our previous guests, Freddie Jr. and Vola. But they were with us in the first segment. But we are so grateful that you all have come to share with the Bahamian people your experiences there and to convince our people that which we know, that we have something that is valuable but above all saleable. We just have to find the right formula, the right approach to sell it to the people. Those people out there, they just eat this up, and I've been there, I've seen it, and you all have seen it. So we just have to, folks, let us continue to support our cultural people, our musicians, our performers, our Junkanoo artists, because truth is, that's going to be the long-term foundation of our tourism industry. This sand, sea, and sun, and hotel properties, that's passé now. People are looking for an experience. These are the people who can give the visitors that experience. And so we thank you all for being with us, and we're going to have you back again as soon as we announce our own festival.
All right.
Let's come on back and let's get that done.
Yes.
And I would be delighted to be a part of that in any way. Folks, you've been watching Moving Forward, a production of the Bahamian Grandstand Advancement Association. And as you can tell, we had a good time. We just enjoyed doing this, particularly with guests like we've had today. And so until next time, we say thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Ray,
Well.
you fellas say you have the preacher look.
Well, who knows?
Well, don't forget my
Next.
hat.
They say you don't pass nothing until you pass on.
Well, Dion, thanks for coming. And
pleasure.
I trust that you all will continue to be successful abroad and even more successful at home. Folks, until next time we say good night, God bless you.
Only love can save us now.